Hello everyone, welcome to yet another tutorial. Today we are going to look at how to create a forest scene with an animated fog like this. We are going to do this in Blender and there is no modeling involved. So we are going to download trees from the internet and just create a basic plane with a displacement map and add some volumetrics and create this scene in less than half an hour. So you can go to sketchfab.com to download the trees, and I search for low poly trees. Okay, and then I found this one, and you can download this tree. Thanks to Sergey Egleski for the trees, and we're going to use his trees for our scene. So once you download that tree, go to Blender, and we are going to convert this light into a spotlight. Okay, this is going to be our fog. Okay, we'll go to add mesh plane, and this is going to be our ground. Okay, so we'll scale the ground big like this, and then we'll go to object, apply scale, tab, subdivide, and I will add 20 subdivisions. Okay, because we're going to add a displacement map. So I will add a basic material and open a texture. I'm going to use this texture. All right, so our camera, hit the N key. I'll make this 90 degrees. This will be 0. Okay, so I'll set up my basic camera for the scene. Okay, and then the camera will be here somewhere. So the camera is set. Our light is 90 and 0 and 0. 90. My 180. Okay, so light is coming from the front towards the camera, and then we will reduce the size and then increase the blend. So the light will be down like this, and this fog object has to be big. Going all the way. Okay, so this is our basic scene setup. Now for this, we'll go to modifier panel and add a displace modifier. Add a new image, click here, open the image and select the same image. Okay, so our fog we can hide for now. You can see that we got some displacement. You can go to modify and increase the strength if you want, and then we'll add a subdivision to smooth things out, so we get like a uneven surface. Okay, we will need to add some bump map to this, so simply go to the shading tab and then shift A and search for bump, and then the normal goes to normal and color goes to height. And then if you go to 0, you will see the bumpness, the roughness, and we need little bit of roughness to this. We go to modify panel. We need to increase the roughness and we don't need specularity, so reduce specularity. Okay, so that is the setup for our scene. So go to file, save, forest. Then we'll go to file, import, and the FBX file that we downloaded for the tree, and file, import, FBX. The trees are imported, they are quite big, so hit the N key and scale it by 0.1, then go to 1, and then move them to the ground. We can go back to modeling. Okay, 3. So these are our trees. The problem is they are all one object, so we go to tab and then select L and click on a tree, right click and say separate selection. L the other, right click, separate selection. L right click, separate selection. L right click, separate selection. Okay, so all the objects are separate. Now what we will do is select the tree, go to object, set origin, origin to geometry, select the other one, and then hit Shift R to repeat, Shift R to repeat, Shift R to repeat, and Shift R to repeat. Okay, now go to 1, and then from options, go to origin, and we need to move the origin of each of our trees to the bottom. So that when you duplicate them and move them, it is easier. Alright, so the texture map is missing for these imported files. So if you go to shading again, there is an image, which is this one. Go to modeling, and then these images will be assigned. Now if you go to 0, you just have to place these objects. We need to remove our origin, so we need to simply place these objects, making sure that they are not floating. If they're inside, it's better, but we don't want them to float. Okay, and we just need to place these, make sure nothing is floating. Okay, and then we can select all of these at once and Shift D to duplicate them. I will simply rotate them so we have one more copy of it. Place these elements around, and then go to the camera view and try to place them so that it's spread out. So it depends on you how many you want to add. Make sure that nothing is overlapping, but that's basically the aim. Now what we want is we want the camera to look at one of these. So what we'll do is we'll select the camera and we'll go to constraints and we will add a track to constraint, and this object for ease I'll say tree track. Okay, so our camera is going to track the tree, what we will do is go to origin and move the origin of this particular tree up so our camera moves up. Okay, and then we can place the camera the way we want. Alright, now you can add more trees if you want. You can even move this element back. Alright, so there is more depth in the back. We can scale the trees so they are of different size. This tree needs to move in the scene. This tree can move in the scene. And you can see with very little trees the scene has filled up. We can move this in the back somewhere. Okay, so that is our scene. If you look at our light, the light has to come here and rotate down a little bit. Okay, now we will increase the strength of the light. You can see the light coming through. We will add an environment map. So go to select any HDRI image that you have downloaded from HDRI Heaven. I will use this one. And I will use the strength to say 0.2. And the last step is to add the fog. So I'll bring our cube. We will add a material. Go to shading tab. We'll remove this and we will add a principal volume and we'll assign it to the volume. Okay, we'll make it 0.1 so there is fog in the scene. Okay, so you can see that now there is fog and we will go back to our light. Our light can be 1. Change the color to be yellowish. Select our cube, fog, and then we can add a little bit of fog color to it. And now we want to add a noise texture, and then I'll hit Control T and make sure that the Node Wrangler add-on is selected, and we'll take the factor into the density, and we need to control this, so we need to add a color ramp. Okay, and then if you reduce this white, when we drag these, and then the white color, if you reduce the whiteness, the fog will get reduced. So you increase the contrast of the fog so that you have some areas with fog, some areas without the fog. Alright, and now we need to animate this. So because our cube is elongated, also what you can do is change the fog, the way it forms, so you can see through the light how the form noise structure works. And what we need to do is we need to animate the camera. So select the camera, hit the 0 key. We'll change this to timeline in the beginning. Make sure that it is I at the location at 250. Remove the camera a little bit and hit I. So now we have camera movement. And for the fog animation, we select the fog, go back to shade editor. We'll make this big here. We'll go here to timeline and then we'll go to 0 and we will add a location key for and then we'll add 0.5 and animate that at some point. So what you get is the movement of the noise in one direction, which will create the anime. We'll go back to timeline here and it will create the illusion of the fog moving. Okay, so rendering will be 1280 by 720. You can go to cycles and render in cycles. You will get similar results. You can tweak the results, but EV works well as well. So I will save this as forested. Save it as a MPEG-4. Encoding I will use MPEG-4, and you can go to render animation, and it's going to render the 250 frames. You can see that it is rendering. You can control the fog by moving the ramp and the detail and density of the fog to get a desired result. So if you want less fog, you can increase the detail and you can increase the white color of the ramp. So I feel that there is too much fog here. So if you go to shading, what you can do is increase the detail to 10, increase the roughness a little bit, and then this color, you need to further go down. Okay, and then you can render the animation again. Let us look at how the animation of the fog looks. YouTube Blender forested. and you can see that the fog is animating and it was too much. So now that we have reduced the fog, you can go to render and render animation again, and that will give you the final result. Thank you very much. And it looks better now. Okay, thank you very much.